told my kids I don't love them and I don't care if their mom dies. They're on their own. I, 56, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer back when I was 37. They caught it relatively early, but I was not expected to survive. About a month after my diagnosis, my ex-wife Sarah divorced me, took the kids, house and most of our savings. She even turned the kids against me and I was alone. I was an only child and my parents passed away, to deal with my seemingly inevitable death. Well, except one person, my coworker Jane. She was the only person in the world who seemed to care about me. Before you ask, there was no infidelity. Sarah divorced me because she couldn't be my nurse as she watched me die. Anyways, the doctors wanted to try to remove the tumor after a few courses of chemo, and I went into remission after the surgery and some more chemo. I'd tried to be there for my kids, but Sarah remarried and my spot was taken by her new husband. After a while I stopped calling them on birthdays and holidays, stopped giving gifts, stopped trying to be involved in their lives. It hurt almost as much as the cancer when I realized I didn't mean anything to them. I ended up marrying Jane and now we have 2 kids. It still hurts, but I love my new family and they actually give a damn about me. Recently, Sarah got diagnosed with terminal heart disease and they are struggling financially. My kids called me for the first time in over a decade to ask me out for lunch. I didn't want to og, but Jane said they're extending an olive branch and to at least hear what they want to say. At lunch they didn't even bother with pleasantries. They jumped straight into asking me to help out their mom with medical bills. I said no and got up to leave, but my son said that even if I didn't love their mom, they did, and if I loved them, I needed to help. I asked them what their half-siblings' names were, when was the last time they called, who they spent the last 2 decades worth of Father's Days with. Why the hell should I give a poop about a woman who took everything from me and left me alone while facing my death? Why should I give a poop about the kids who wouldn't even see me before my surgery or at any point when I was dying? They were silent. So I said, I don't care about your mom, nor do I give a single damn if she dies. And I don't care how bad her dying hurts you guys because I care about you guys about the same amount you guys care about me. Not the slightest. I won't help because I don't love her or you guys. I then paid for their food and left them at the restaurant. I have been getting calls from my ex's family telling me how awful I am for saying told me that even though I'm right, I was too harsh on them. Was I in the wrong?
I'm bringing my sister-in-law's wallet to the restaurant because she conveniently always forgets it. My sister-in-law Jenna, female 26, always comes to visit from out of town. She stays with us instead of a hotel to save money and always wants to go to all the expensive restaurants. She always conveniently forgets her wallet or comes up with some excuses as to why she can't pay her share of the bill. She has implied that since I make much more money than her, I should be the one to pay for all of her food. No, not my husband should pay, but me in specific. I do make a fair amount of money, but not so much that I can treat someone every time they come into town. Nonetheless, in the past, I have just paid the bill and asked her to pay me back, but she never does. And honestly, I'm getting really tired of it and I have reached my breaking point with this girl. She had made a reservation at an extremely expensive restaurant last night, and before we left, I made it very clear to her that I will not be paying her bill under any circumstance. Now listen, this is where I might be the I'll admit, I got this move straight from an episode of 2.5 Men. As we were leaving, her and my husband went to the car and we were all ready to drive to the restaurant. I pretended I forgot something and went back inside. I went inside the guest room she was staying in, and I found her wallet conveniently sitting right on top of her suitcase while we are going to a very expensive restaurant. So, what better thing to do than put it in my purse and go back inside the restaurant? My sister-in-law practically ordered the most expensive things on the menu. When we were done eating, I asked for separate bills. She said, no, we need one bill because she forgot her wallet again. I reached in my purse and said, this wallet? This is gold. She was extremely furious, going as far to screaming in this very quiet and peaceful restaurant. She looked like a complete lunatic and I felt a second-hand embarrassment. She said that I should have not touched or grabbed her wallet. So am I the taking her wallet?
What are some unethical life hacks? I once knew this guy in Mountain View, Silicon Valley that was a computer system admin for the company I was consulting at. Super smart and nice. He was always confident and knew how to fix problems. His only issue was, he was always out on call and I had to page him when I needed him. 30 minutes later, he would turn up and fix the problem. This goes on for a few months, until one day I go to call him and find out he is no longer working there. I asked around to find out what happened to him and it turns out, he had been holding down 2 full-time jobs at the same time. He had worked at the company I was at, and another similar one a short distance away simultaneously. He was earning 2 full-time salaries, both system admin positions, working a 40 hours week, 9/5, Monday to Friday for 2 companies at the same time, charging twice for the same hour. Both companies he worked for were just a few blocks apart and he had pagers and phones for both jobs. He constantly ran backwards and forwards between the 2 companies and had gotten away for it for years. It wasn't until his boss was visiting his friend at the other company for lunch, saw him sitting at another desk, that he was found out. I was impressed. Up until he got caught, he was keeping both bosses happy. Even though he was no longer working there, he ended up being a hero in the eyes of the other engineers, just for having the balls to do something so bold.